Hi. Are you one of those people who find yourself doing the same thing every day, dealing with the same conversation, going to the same places, dealing with the same people, being bored with it? Are you that person? Are you that person who repeats and does stuff over and over because people expect you to? Do you find yourself not being honest when you know being dishonest is killing you? Are you the kind of person that spends your time looking for a place to be yourself? I always think that there's like three parts to us, not just body, soul, and spirit, but I think in our personalities, it's the person that we really are underneath, who we know who we are. I mean, we know what we want to say. We can hear that voice really clear about what we want to say and what we don't want to say. You ever had that person talking to you while somebody else is talking? You hear that other person talking to you. Um, so there's a person that's a monitor or an editor that knows what's going on and can tell you what you should be doing even though you ignore it. Um, so there's the person that's the editor. There's the person that you want other people to see. That's the practice person. There's a certain kind of behavior that you present the same face, that you're so consistent in it, people think they know you because you act the way you do, but in fact that's not you at all. Like I remember I was just always the party girl, like hey la, 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 la. And inside I was crying, I was screaming inside. I had such stomach attacks. I used to have attacks where the only thing that would calm me down would be music, like classical music. Like I would go to the library when I my first year college. I would go to the library and I'd be in such excruciating pain. I mean, it felt like some knife was cutting into me. And I'd go in the library and listen to this music and stay half the day. And when I came out, I'd be stoned. I'd be physically stoned. The pain would be gone, but a part of me it would just be would calm down. And I wasn't able. I don't even know when they stopped. I mean, at some point, those physical attacks, those stomach aches, those stomach pains, eventually stopped. I was told by a doctor, if you keep living under the stress you're living, heck, I was only 19, I was 20. And he said, if you keep living under this stress, you're going to have an ulcer. And it terrified me. And I was like, I got to do something. But 18, 19, 20, all my 20s, I was crazy. I was insane. But I was always a party girl. I knew that if people would like to be around me, if I was the party girl, if I was funny, they would love me. Oh, Venice, you got to invite her to the party. You got to invite her. And I remember having a dream. I was the night I was supposed to go to this party because this girl had begged me, "You got to come to my party. You can't not come to my party." Because if I didn't come to the party, people said, "Why weren't you at the party?" And I remember I had gone to sleep. That's all, endless parties, parties at my house, comedians at my house. I mean, actors. I was in the arts, Columbia, so we were in the hippie days in the 70s, whatever. And so, anyway, long story short, I was the party girl, but I was suicidal. I wanted to die. Most of the time, I wanted to die. The partners that I had, the boyfriends I supposedly were supposed to have. It wasn't even I was living the life that I thought I was supposed to live, the person that people wanted to see. And I was so tired of partying. I was so tired of drinking. I was so tired of smoking. I was tired of dropping speed and bennies to, go fast and slow down. I was in a mess. I was in a mess. And I remember after all of this, I went to bed one night and I had a dream. And in the dream, I rung the doorbell and somebody opened the door and went, Venice, she's here, she's here. And they pushed pulled me into the house, and there was people milling around the house, and I was like walking, and somebody said, "Hey, hey, did you know beer makes you smarter?" And I said, "Huh? Beer makes you smarter." And I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "Well, it made Budweiser." Ha ha! Get it? I walked around the party. I'm like, please. And they're like, hey, girl, so and so and so and so. And people started saying stuff to me or whatever. And in this party, I got tired of walking around, smiling and everything. And I said, I'm getting ready to go. And I made my rounds around the party and said, yeah, I got to go. And I walked to the door. I opened the door. And as I got ready to walk through, somebody grabbed me, turned me around, and said, she's here. And everybody said, hey, girl. And I started walking back into the party. You know, it's sort of like deja vu. So I started walking back into the party, and somebody said, hey, did you know beer makes you smarter? And I said, what? Beer makes you smarter. Oh, you know, it made Budweiser. Get it? Ha ha ha. And so I go through this party again, but you know, it's kind of like, wait a minute, I know what people are going to say. I know what people are going to do. I know what's coming next. And so I decide I'm going to leave this party again, and I walk to the door. And just as I go to put my hands on the door, somebody grabs me, spins me around, and says, she's here. And my mind goes, oh no, what's going on? And so this person said, did you know beer? I said, it made Budweiser, leave me alone. And I started to turn around and go, and I go, will I ever get out of here? Will I ever? And I looked up like this, and I said, will I ever get out of here? And I looked up, and what I saw was the sky. And I was in a box, in a box with no top on it, no lid. I was looking up at the stars in the sky, and I was trapped. And then I woke up, and I still remembered the dream almost exactly. And I was having a party that weekend. I had just moved into a new apartment, and I had this comedian that was booked. I had this fire dancer who used to play at what was that? I can't even remember. It was a bar where like oh, anyway, he worked at the bar where there were like transvestites, whatever, and you know, John Louis is same club that Chili Pepper was in, whatever. And one of them, he was a dancer and blah blah blah. And I had all these people that were coming to my party, and it was just all people hanging out. And I walked into it looked like my apartment was beautiful, two bedrooms. You couldn't get this bedroom now without a couple of $1,000. But anyway, it was all white, and it had arch ceilings. And so each room was like a archway. And so anyway, the party's happening, and I always provided food, so you could always eat good at my parties. And so people were in the kitchen, and people were hanging out, and the fire dancer was out there, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is." And this kid walked up to me. He said, "This party is you know, this. Thank you. I'm at this party." And so anyway, I'm walking through my house, you know, going through the rooms to see what's going on, and I walk into the first bedroom, and I see all these guys that are, you know, these people at the party, and they have drawn with a magic marker this huge Valentine on my bedroom wall, and I hadn't even put stuff in there yet. And they had a color like "Good luck, girl." You know this, that, and the other. And I'm reading the comments, and I'm like, "What the hell are you doing?" And they say, "Are you moving out, ain't you?" I said, "No, I'm moving in. What are you doing?" And they were like, "Oh, we're sorry." I got so angry. It just was like, how dare you? Even if I was leaving, how dare you deface property like that? How dare you leave something like that? I just, it just, all of a sudden, I was so angry. And I turned around and I went to the other room, and somebody was all, getting ready to screw, you know what I'm saying? And I walked into the living room and I said, okay, everybody get the hell out. And they were still partying and nobody heard me. And I walked over to, I said, everybody get out. And they were still partying. The music was really loud. And I walked over to the record player. That's when we had record players, not DVDs and stuff like that. And the album was on the that's when he had albums, you know what I mean? So anyway, I go over to the thing and I just take the arm and I scratch it all across the record and I said, "Get the F out now." And people like, "What's wrong with her? She tripping." People are looking from the coming from the bedroom. People are coming from the kitchen like, "What's wrong with you? Get the F out." I started pushing people through the door of my house. I started pushing them out, pushing them out, pushing them out until my apartment was empty. And I said, and that is the last time I gave a party. It was the last time I went to parties. It was it for me. I realized that my life was worthless. It was an endless amount of time wasted. All I was doing is wasting time. All I did was party. I get drunk Thursday night. I get drunk Friday. I get drunk Saturday. I'd be drunk Sunday. And then I would get up Monday, eyes all red, because you can probably see stuff now that vessels broke in my eye from just being bloodshot all the time. I was high all the time. My whole life was party. You young people don't know nothing about partying. I mean, at least the drugs that I used to take weren't synthetic. Y'all take drugs now where you can't even come back unless they put you in rehab or whatever. But I did it. I did angel dust. I did drugs. I mean, there's nothing to be proud of. I was wasting my life. I'm glad that I didn't keep it up. I'm glad that dream woke me up. So sometimes you get that face that people expect, but that's who you really are. That dream was saying who I really was, like, wake up. And then there's the other person you want to be, the person you dream about being, your inner soul, like a homing device says, this is who you want to be. This is what you want to do. This is where you want to go. How do you think you're going to get, excuse me, how are you going to get there? Anyway, I've gone on and on longer than I intended to, but I just want to say to you, break the habit. Don't be a creature of habit and negative things. The same thing. I used to smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day. I can't even stand people smoking by me. And I know it seems self-righteous, but when you've had bronchitis, when you've been where you can't even breathe, God has blessed me to recover my lungs 100% from 3 packs of cigarettes a day. That's 60 cigarettes a day. So God, He's immaculate in the way that He deals in my life. And I know He's probably blessed you, and you probably got testimonies. I'm telling you, it's a wonder I don't have all that other stuff that they have, but my lungs are clean. Thanks to the Lord. Thank you. I love you. Take care of yourself. Be blessed. I pray for you, Father. This is holiday season. Crazy things are happening. People are robbing people. People are at risk. I ask you, God, to take a look and be along with each one of the people at the sound of my voice who may get this video or not get it. But God, I ask you to keep them because they are your children, God. You said you'll go get one and leave the 99. So I pray for that one that you will keep, God, that you will keep in your presence, that you will keep in your safety. I thank you for my family, my friends. I thank you for Vicky out there in California, her and Alan. I thank you for Ethelene out there in Iowa and what is it, Davenport, Iowa? I thank you for Connie Draper out there in Cincinnati, Reynoldsburg. I thank you for Paula, and I thank you for Cece and Mary and the Ballingers and all of the wonderful people, God, that I have known. I ask you to keep them this holiday season, keep their family, their children, their grandchildren. May they have abundant life, God, and live in you. In Jesus' name I pray.